The next couple of videos will be for the stop motion animation process. The assumption is that you've taken your images or taken your photographs with the camera, or you have drawn some images and are either have scanned them or getting ready to scan them. Just a reminder that if they're small images, because we're shooting for about 11 inches wide or 800 pixels wide or tall, so if you have small drawings, make sure you scan them at a much higher resolution than that which we'll be using. We'll be using 72 pixels per inch, so you're probably going to want to scan them up around 300 pixels per inch. Once you do that, either way, put your finished photos or scans in a folder, and then we'll start working on them from there. First thing we need to do is find out how big they are, especially if they are photographs from a camera. We're going to find out, we're going to right click on a couple of them. We'll do more than one just to make sure that they're not mixed size, which shouldn't be the case. But we're going to go to Get Info, and under Get Info we're going to make sure that the little box that says More Info is twirled open. So if yours happens to be closed up like this, just click it so that it opens. And you can see that right now my images are 930 by 620, and that is in pixels. So it's too wide. The maximum is 800 pixels. I'm going to need to fix that. Before we start editing the images, in case we might need them for something else or in case we mess them up, we want to make a copy. So what we're going to do is go back to the original folder that we have, and we're going to right click on it, and we are going to select duplicate. And then let's name it something so that we remember what we were doing. First thing I'm going to show you is how to edit these images in preview. So I'll call them edit PRV for preview. Alright, so we know how big they are. We know that we need to do some work with them. So what we're going to do is select every image in here, and we're going to open it up with preview. And to do that, we just click on any one of them and then hit the Command key and the A key together. They're all selected. Then we right click on that mass of images and we go to Open With. And I think this is just a glitch here because I'm running the other program at the same time that's recording my video. So normally you would see the first option here would be to open them with the default of preview. So I might have to go the long way around to get there. And I'm going to pause this. Okay, I now have preview open, which for you should have been the default there. I just had to select it from the applications that showed up when I selected other. Then what you do is you once again need to select all of the images. Now this time inside of preview, you can see right now only the first image is selected, but we are going to edit all of the images at once. So I'm going to select any one image and hit Command A again. Now they're all selected. Now I'm going to go up to Tools, and I'm going to go Adjust Size, and I'm going to make sure this is in pixels. By default it might be in inches for you, so make sure that you change this using the drop down to pixels, and you can see the numbers that we came up with before by getting the information on them. You want to make sure that this lock is locked, in other words that scale proportionately has a check mark in it, and that resample image has a check mark. You also want to make sure that the resolution is at 72, so if you have anything other than 72, go ahead and change that. Then what you want to do is look at the width and height, and whichever one of those is the largest number, change that to 800. In my case it's the width. And because this option here was select scale proportionately, the height changed along with the width, and then it's just a matter of clicking OK, and it changed all of those images, but it has not saved them. So you need to go up to File and Save All, and this might take a couple seconds for it to do this. After it saves all of your images at the new size, go back to your to edit the images from and just double check and make sure, because a mistake is for people to only the first image selected and that's the only one that changes, or forget to go File, Save All. Okay, then let's go back to that original. I keep saying original, but I mean the one that we changed, which was up here. Okay, and then this is the one that we changed. I changed the name of it to edit preview, and let's just check a couple of these. So we'll right click, go to get info, and we see that they're 800 by 533. Let's just randomly check another one. Get info 800 by 533. So they must have all been changed, so we're good on there. We should be able to, at this point, jump into Flash and get these ready. Now, if you need to do an edit like a crop or something else in Photoshop, then keep paying attention here, keep watching the video, or if you're just interested in how to do a little something in Photoshop, pay attention, otherwise you can stop here. Now in this case we don't need to make another copy of this folder. We always could and trash it if we didn't need it. But what the process, the way it works in Photoshop, is it opens up every one of these images, brings them into, okay, sorry, was interrupted there. So what I was saying is Photoshop will stack every one of these images up inside of the program into layers, and then using automated techniques it'll save them all back out as images into, we're going to have to make another folder for it. Now just to speed things up a little bit here, because this is going to take a lot of resources to do this many images at once, I'm just going to do like the last 30 or so. So I'm going to grab this many of them here and I'm going to delete those. So now we just have 35 through 60 some. Okay, so what we do is we launch Photoshop. So either click on the icon at the bottom of your screen for Photoshop, go up to the top right hand corner, click on the magnifying glass, and find the newest version of Photoshop. Now once you have it opened, what you're going to do is you are going to go to File, and then you're going to go to Scripts, and then Load Files into Stack. Then a little palette should open up here any second, and then from there we need to navigate and find the files that we want to open up. So I'm going to click on Browse, and then I'm going to navigate to those files, which, let's see if I can find it quickly here. It was somewhere in this folder, and here they are. So what I need to do is just click on the first one, scroll down, shift click on the last one so that I have all of those images selected. Then I'm going to click on, I think Open, and then OK. And it's going to bring all of the images here into Photoshop. Now I'm going to try to pause this while it does it, but it may take a... Okay, great. That didn't take as long as I thought it would. I'm going to drag my layers palette over here so you can see what happened. It's brought in those images that I've selected, which by the way these images were just of a black piece of paper sitting on a light box, and then I just punched a hole in it each time to reveal a word. So if I turn off the eyeballs here, you start to see the layers that are below, and you start to see a little bit more of each, you know, the word revealing itself. So I'm going to toggle these back on. So a very common thing to do in this case in Photoshop would be to do a crop. And so the example would be like, let's say in this case, I think that the image, it just has too much negative space at the bottom. I don't, but let's just pretend that I thought it did. So what I'm going to do is crop the image so that it has a little bit less space at the bottom. But we know that the image is too big. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we can verify that in Photoshop just by going image size, and we should see that familiar size of 930 by 620. So we're going to kill two birds with one stone here. We're going to crop the image and change the size. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the crop tool, which is about the fourth tool down here, and then notice that when I have the crop tool selected, the amount of options that I have, or the options that I have, change. So what I want to do is, I know that my image is wider than it is tall. So I'm going to go up here to the width of the crop tool, and I'm going to type in 800 px for pixels. Don't forget the px, because if it's in inches, this will take forever. It'll try to upscale your images so that they're 800 inches wide, which could take like a couple hours. And then the height I'm going to leave blank, because I know if the width is the widest, then the height is going to have to be smaller than that. And I'm going to set the resolution to 72. So if it was set at anything else, change it to 72. Now we can go ahead with this crop tool and drag out the crop that we want. So I'm going to come in a little bit on the top and on the left and right sides, just a little bit, and a little bit more on the bottom. And all I'm doing to change this is just roll the cursor over these things that look like little boxes. And then once I have the crop size the way I want it, I'm going to double click in here, and it's going to crop this entire file, which is made up of a whole bunch of different layers, one image per layer in this case. And then luckily we don't have to save it out one layer at a time. There's an automated feature for that, just like there was to bring them in. And to get to that feature, we again go up to File. Just have to wait till this is finished. But there's our new cropped version. Now we go to File. We go to Automate. No, I'm sorry, Scripts. And we go to Export Layers to Files. So very similar to what we did to start with, but we end up on Export Layers to Files. When we click that, it should open up a sub panel here that's going to ask us for some choices, what we want to name them and so on, and where we want to name them first. So let's click on Browse to get to where we want to go. So I had that folder on the desktop. Let's see if maybe it got up from what I was doing before. Yeah, here's the name of the folder that it was inside. And I'm going to create a new folder inside of here for them. So click on New Folder, and I'll give it a similar name to what we had before. So PRO1 Photos, but I'll call this Edit PS for Edit in Photoshop. So then I'll have the ones that I edited in Preview, the ones that I edited in Photoshop. So I'll click Create, and then I will click Open, and then I have to give them a prefix. So I can just do something as simple as IMG for image, and then file type, I want to make sure that that is a JPEG. And for the JPEG option, the default quality 8 is fine for web related things. And then I'm going to click Run. And what it's going to do is it's going to take the IMG, the image, and it's going to add a number after each one. So when it puts those in the folder, each one will say IMG, then 01, 02, 03, etc. So let's go find that folder once it's finished. Okay, and then here's my edit in Photoshop, so let's open that up. It's not quite finished yet. Oh, here's actually how it saved them. It saved them with image underscore 001, but it also put the 36 and 37 after them. So that's probably not going to be very friendly for us, but luckily in another video I'm going to show you how to rename files very quickly, one fell swoop. So that's it. Right at this point, you would have your images edited using either the Photoshop method or using the preview application inside of the Mac.